Yeah, this clip started going around. I'll just let it play. This clip from Myth started going around, and it's an unpopular opinion.
I will reiterate that any problems that this game has, it's so like irrelevant compared to all the problems you have to deal with when it comes to games nowadays, bro. I'm with
like
you
bugs.
all the way, brother. The fact that they left the glitch in after Stella says enough. Well, I don't know if that means much. I mean, if anything, I think it just says that they had Stella Montes ready to go. Also, I'm gonna be honest, I have a very, very unpopular take on this that I don't know if a lot of people will respect. I would rather receive new content over fixing non-game breaking bugs every day of the week. I don't care. If it doesn't break the game, like, I just give me new content. Like, I'll swallow the new content, and that will be the pill that I have to swallow. I'd much rather deal with that, like, if I gotta pick one. I like playing with shiny new toys. I'm sick of keys having no use at all since launch. Yeah, I feel that.
To be clear, he acknowledges it's an unpopular opinion, so I'll give him credit for that. But the reason that he feels that way, I'm sure, is because he's a streamer playing this game for like 12 hours a day. And so that super chat coming from Luke Warfield, I feel many games are designed in a way where it's best for people with no job, no kids. I get tired of games that need hours of grinding for one good item. Once you're an adult and have a family, no time. And I think that there's a lot of games that start to fall into that trap where they're popular, they're popular live service games and they get a lot of streamers playing them, and those streamers start to really eat it up. But these streamers who are playing these games day in, day out, they can often kind of lose sight of how normal people play games. Like, normal people tend to work their 9 to 5, they get home, they have dinner, maybe they do something with the kids or the wife or whatever, and then they go after the kids go down and they sit down and they play for an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe with their friends, maybe not. And then they go to bed and the whole thing goes over again, you know? And that's how most of them do it. And maybe when they're playing for those 2 hours, they have their favorite streamer pulled up in a second monitor or something playing the same game, but they're only putting, an hour, 2 hours in a night. Some days they're skipping it because something else came up. That's how normal human beings exist. These streamers, though, they are playing 12 hours a day, maybe more, 7 days a week, especially around launch time. And they are no-lifing it, and they are grinding with other high-level players who are also no-lifing it. And so they learn every exploit, they learn every detail, they look up every hidden trick and every bug and everything. And it allows them to progress very, very quickly and to have cool gadgets for people watching their stream to see and be like, ooh, I want to get that eventually. But it gives them a very unrealistic, I feel, outlook on how the game works and the progression and how that feels. Like, I think, was it Shroud was making a comment also about needing new content in Arc Raiders after the game had been out for like 4 days. And it's like, bro, most people are going to take a month to get to where you are right now. Yeah, where's the content? There's no content. Exactly. It's like, dude, what you've done in a week, most players will take a month to do or more. Like, I'm glad that you played through the content and are having a great time, but like, the drip of content that they've designed is for normal people. Like, if they had enough content to keep a streamer satisfied, it would be so overwhelming for the average Joe that it would be probably a net negative, and it wouldn't be that useful. You'd want to steadily pace it out more reasonably. But that's the duality of gaming and designing games nowadays, is that they're trying to design games for streamers and for content creators, but then they're also trying to design games for the players at the same time. And sometimes they're not actually that, they don't cross over that well. Like, sometimes they just don't. And then other times, the designers just straight up ignore the advice from both sides of the community. Like in the case of Marathon, like I said, with Marathon, where they straight up were like, yeah, what would you guys say is like one thing you really hope to see added to Marathon? And we say proximity chat. And they're like, yeah, well, it's toxic, so we're not going to do that. It's like, okay, well, then why are you asking? But I think that what you've identified in your super chat, Luke, is very valid. There's a lot of games that certainly take a lot more inspiration and take more nods from the streamer side of their audience and community than maybe the normal player. Because I've felt that too, where it's like I don't feel like I have the energy, to no life it to the degree I would need to be competitive. It's what made me fall off of games like Warzone. I used to play a lot of Warzone. I used to play a lot of Apex. I grinded out Apex Legends arenas for a while doing ranked. I loved those. And it eventually got to the point where I was like, dude, I feel like I have to spend 4 hours, 5 hours a day, a mixture of gameplay and then also looking up the metas and stuff just to keep up. I just can't do that. I just can't. And I think a good number of other people have felt similar things, but I think Arc Raiders so far has done a really good job of it. I mean, it's been out all of 3 weeks or something. Like, it's not been out that long, and they've already got new content dropping in, and we'll see how it goes over the next 6 months, how that goes. But hearing streamers complain that they've already reached max level and they've run out of stuff to do, it's like, bro, I would love to see the stats, but I'm guessing the average player is still level 5. I would really, really be shocked if the average player is a lot higher than that. I think it's the same thing with the average Call of Duty player or average Fortnite player. Their KDs are 0.6, 0.5. That's the average player, the normal player, which suggests that a solid half of that population is below that point too. Level 3 here. Yeah, you play a little bit. You're like, yeah, I like it. I'm having a good time. But most people are not no life in games. They play for a couple hours and then they move on. So I would agree that studios should not just design stuff to cater to the people playing for 12 hours a day, because it's just not realistic. Yeah. Elron says streamer has other goals than gamers. They want the game to suit their needs and don't care what the gamer wants. Well, I mean, ultimately all anybody can do is describe their perspective. It's frankly it can be cringe when people are trying to take on somebody else's perspective when they have either been so far out of touch with that perspective for so long that they don't know what they're talking about, or something else. But if I want to know what the average gamer's day-to-day is or what they want out of a game, I'm probably not going to chat with a multi-giga millionaire like Ninja, because I think he's been so out of that realm for so long, because he's been a streamer for so long and has been so rich for so long, not working the 9 to 5. He probably would struggle to put himself in the shoes of your average gamer, right? He's not the guy you talk to for that perspective. You talk to him for the perspective of a professional streamer, and that's okay. That's what he is. Don't pretend you're something that you're not. And I'm not saying Ninja does that. I'm just using him as an example of a very successful streamer who's been doing it for a long time. So I don't have any problem with streamers describing what they want out of a game. My problem is if that's what the developers go for, because that's not what the average gamer is looking for. That's not what they want, Yeah, I have time to no life multiplayer games like Battlefield 6 and Arc Raiders, but I don't want to burn out of or finish everything and have nothing to work towards in game. Well, and at this point, this is also the very specific thing with Arc Raiders right now, is that we are very early in its lifespan. It just came out a matter of weeks ago. And so it's really easy for us right now to, maybe not really easy, but if you are somebody that can know life and can grind out a ton of time, you could get through this and finish the content within that 2 to 3 week period, and you get to the end game and then you're just kind of chilling. In a year, there will be enough updates and expansions and stuff that you're going to really struggle to blast through that quickly, and once you get 2 years into the lifespan, there's just a ton of content that keeps people engaged, but it just takes time. And right now we're at that weird point where the game just came out. They're getting their feet under them. They laid the foundation. They're making sure everything's running right. And now they're building it up from there. And now they're struggling with the added complexity of I mentioned earlier in the stream, the whole burnt peanut wars. I guarantee you, they did not see this coming. They did not think that this was going to be something they would have to juggle when they put the game together. I do not think this was on their list.
You have chosen the right side of history. Boys, line up! Arms at ready! 3, 2, One son of heaven! I got the crossfire and died instantly. If you have
I do not think they ever anticipated that this would be an element of their like sort of close sci-fi extraction shooter, that their game would be led by a burnt peanut VTuber. But that's where we are. That's where we are. Ninja's actually one of the more base ones, actually. I think he's at the point of his career where he's just like, yeah, screw it, which I respect. I like that. He's got FU money, you know? He can say whatever he wants, do whatever he wants. And I appreciate it.